Hello, we are about to do some sweet upgrades on the Sportster. The front suspension is what we're going to do. We picked up, let's see, some plus 2-inch dampers from TrackerDie. Good dudes. Over there, they also hooked me up with my new suspension. We have the Race Tech suspension with, one's already out, the Gold Valve Emulators. So it should make for a pretty sweet ride. So we're gonna have to do a lot of tuning on those, on the preload, make sure everything's just right. So let's get cooking. This is about all the tools I need. Spend a lot of time just prepping the tools for this crap. Way more time than I'm probably gonna spend doing it, but that's ideal because I only want to do it once. So let's start. We're gonna jack up the bike first and then get the wheel off. We're gonna do the wheel first. Let's take the fender off. Thanks for the impact drill, Dad. Impact driver, whatever you want to call it. Then we're going to do the axle bolt. Now, caliper comes off. Next up, fork tree. Oh, shoot. I will need to take those off, won't I? We just lowered the fork, so we're gonna get the cap nut here while it's lowered and still being held by the bike, but not up where you have to take off the bars. Let me go get that piece. And of course, I have the right one, but I have to use 2 adapters, going from 3/8 to what, 1/2 inch, whatever it is. So going from 3/8 to 1/2 inch to 1 inch. So I need more room to be able to get my wrench in there. So we're gonna drop it down a little further. Take this gargantuan thing, pop it on. Ooh, you know what? I'm gonna need even more room because my preload is gonna jump up some more. Think ahead, people. Think ahead. Now I'm gonna take this nice little tool. Oh, that was fun to break. Probably should use the breaker bar for that. Want to make sure my hand isn't right there because this thing is absolutely gonna want to jump. Oh, this part always makes me nervous. And there it goes. Voila. Ow. Just that much preload. Made it suck that much. Let's take it all the way out. And this is where it starts to smell like butthole. There you have it. Except what I didn't do was drain the fluid first. Yeah, skipped a step. We gotta take out the bolt on the bottom, which apparently is not very fun. And then drain the fork oil. So I managed to break the damper bolt loose. Wasn't recording for that, partially because I was looking for a tool, partially because it was probably the worst method you could do, and I thought I stripped the bolt, but it turns out I actually broke it. Did it with an Allen key and a wrench. Out. There's a spring, and if you're doing this, make sure you're not tipping this upside down once you get it open and take the spring out, or you'll have to disassemble and reassemble the whole thing. I mean, we practically are, but you know what I'm saying. So now I've got to go in there and pull the damper rod out, get the spring out. I'm gonna go in here and get my damper rod. You can see that. That's the old damper rod. 9.5 inch damper rod. Here, our new boys, 11.5 inches. So we're getting 2 inches. I'm gonna go back in and get the spring. There it is. Ta-da. You get new crush washers in your kit so you can toss the old ones. Looks fine to me. Keep the bolt. So now, I'm actually gonna replace the fork seals. So we gotta take this top cap off here. So I hear they say to use or I see people use like a brass drift to get this piece off, right in that notch. If you can see it, that notch. I do not have a brass drift, so we're just gonna go at it. But if you want yours to look real pretty, brass drift. So what we're gonna be doing is just, make sure you see that. What we're gonna be doing here is just yoinking. Huge shocker, I am an idiot. Dust cover needs to come off because there's a metal clip holding it in there. Don't skip any steps. So what was holding it in was the metal clip, if you can see it. See that little metal bump on this side? Yeah, that's the metal clip inside that's holding it from coming out when I'm ripping on it like an idiot. I think all the slamming I did might have kind of crimped it in there. Clip looks to be all right. There it goes. Looks like I smashed the clip into the seal to make it just way more difficult for myself. You know, so now's the part where we pop this out. There you go. That was about 100 times easier. It was impossible the way I was doing it. Like a moron. Take the old one off. Put the washer back on. Now we replace with way new. Roll that up a little bit. Get that on there. And I got my PVC. And we're just gonna come up top. Give it some taps. Looks good. Okay. Wonderful. That's 1.5 inch PVC, by the way. You can see it in there, nice and seated. So let's get the clip back in. Just push that in there. Let's get the dust cover. And we're gonna get the top on. Just slapped into place. Okay, so now's where we start dropping everything back in. So for my application, they come with the blue springs. I think they're the weakest. We're going to be switching to the yellow springs. And I've already checked all the measurements and what they recommend for your riding and whatever. I'm gonna do just over 1 turn on these of preload right there. That off. So we can take the blue off, yellow on. All screws together. No load on the shock spring rather. Just gonna take that. I'm just gonna do just over 1 turn. Let's do 1 1/4. So find out where it is. It's all together, it's all tight. It's ready to be dropped in. Glad I'm going back through the directions. This is the original damper rod. I left the damper bushing on there, which is supposed to go on the new damper rod. This is not really a how-to, because I suck. But in case you're curious how the average schmuck puts it together. I mean, if I can do it, you can do it. Oh look, a nice little spot for that to go. Would you look at that? Hope that's in there all the way. We're going to drop in the spring, and then we're going to pull this up. Check our preload. So we're going to want to put the cap back on, and then come down here, flip it upside down, and put the damper bolt in. All right, we got it. Okay. Just got a few threads. So we're going to take the old damper bolt, new washer from the kit, drop it in, take our 6mm Allen key, and screw it into a new damper bolt. It's snug, it's good. There you go. Now the damper rod will stay put. Let's take the cap off. Take the spring out. So now is when we move on to the emulators and the spring and the oil level and the preload space. So to measure the fork oil, we're going to drop the emulator in, bring in, and we're going to take 2 of our spring washers and set them on top. Let's go up, measure from the top of those washers to the top here, which is 4.5 inches. So I want 4.5 inches of preload. I'm going to cut the preload space in a second, but first I'm going to do the oil level. The oil level needs to be while the emulator is in, and they recommend 6 inches. And that is from the top of the from the top of the oil level to the top of the tube. It needs to be 6 inches. Oh, there you go. About 6 inches exactly. Let's drop our spring in. Let's cap it for a minute. Let's get cutting the spacer. Safety first, right? Thanks for the tools, Dad. Last tool did not work good. We're gonna see about this one. Oh, that was better. That is the ugliest spacer. Let's move on to the second one, make a better second one. Tighten it up when it's back on, but we have one completed leg. Wow, that took a long time. There you go. There's your +2. Now to get it back on. Another shot of the legs here, so you can tell the difference in fork leg. You can see it right there really well. The wide angle doesn't do it justice. The sun's going down, and that was one leg. Got to do the other leg still. Shit. as you can see, some time has passed, and I'm having a root beer. Delicious root beer. Gotta lift it a little bit so we can get the wheel on. Coming with me on this POV journey. So last night was fun. Got real dark, and I panicked real hard because nearly dropped my bike off the lift. So it, let me show you. I think I got some footage of it. Yeah, that was scary. But I managed to lower it down and pick up the front end of the bike and move it over on the jack, and it was okay. It was terrifying, but it was okay. What we're gonna do now is put the front fairing back on and put the front fender back on. You can see the little bit of an extra lean to it right now. I was gonna put on an extended kickstand, but I'm not sure if I actually need to. I guess I'll decide that later. But let's get the fender and the fairing on. Fender first. Alright, so all reassembled. I'm gonna take it for a ride and test out the new shocks, the new springs, the new front setup. I'm excited. Brake caliper ended up working out. I don't think I had audio when I was saying it last night, but I had to move this line here. I had to reposition that instead of bending back here. I had to bend it over to make it reach, but it's not too tight. There's still a little tension, or a little movement in there. I didn't let extra air into the line. The brake is still nice and tight, so we're good to go. Gonna take it for a ride. Hey puppy! Woo! Tight squeeze. Excuse me, pardon me. What's up, buddy? Look at them clouds. Man, that was a really tough job. I mean, it could have been worse. I made a lot of screw ups, but I got it done. It was the first time I ever took the wheel off this thing, and I was able to reassemble it. It runs and rides. It's dope. I mean, if I can make this crap work, pretty sure anybody can. Dudes up at TrackerDie. If you're anywhere local in Southern California, you gotta go check them out. TrackerDie. Or they have a website, and they do a lot of shipping. I know a lot of people all around the country and around the world get stuff shipped from them. They make chain conversions, they make fork dampers, I think they make what are they, like gold tubes. I'm not sure if those ones are made in-house or not, but I see their products all over the place, and I was stoked to find out that they're local to me. So that's where I go now for pretty much anything I need. They're all performance oriented, and their mechanics, the guys, the brains, they're awesome. They do great work. They did my neck bearing and got me riding solid back when I raised these bars and had issues with it. They're awesome, dudes. Dope prices. I think I paid $500 out the door for all of this. Is kickstand, springs, Gold Valve Emulators. Those two are from Race Tech, and then they're plus two dampers for a 39 millimeter. Oh, and fork seals. All of that, $500 out the door. I mean, can't beat it, in my opinion. I don't know, unless you get stuff secondhand. But anyways, I had a great time taking this thing apart, assembling it, getting frustrated, overcoming the fucking obstacles. If you want to see more content, more stuff, more working on stuff, I'll really try to make them better, because I know towards the end there it really fell apart. I panicked when the bike almost fell out the lift. But if you want to see more stuff like this, come and check out my channel. Come check out my other videos. I do some how-tos. I wouldn't consider this one a how-to because I am not a professional, and it's your front suspension. It's important. What's up, buddy? It's important, and I'm not an authority on it, so don't take my word. I'm just showing you that an average schmuck like myself can put this thing together, and it's super fun. I love working on my bike myself. And yeah. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this video if you would, please. Trying to grow this channel so we can do some more fun stuff. But anyways, thanks for coming along. Y'all ride safe, and I'll see you in the next one, alright? Woohoo!